Thank you for tuning into another episode of the JohnnyBoy Studios podcast. I am so happy for today's episode because I have a special guest in the studios with me. You want to say hi?
Yeah, what's up, guys and girls and everything in between? My name is Eric Guilmette, and I'm happy to be here.
I am super excited to have you here because you are a model who has been blowing up on Instagram, on TikTok. You are like everywhere.
I'm a little bit of everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
that you can see on a screen.
Yeah, everywhere you can see on the screen.
And print, I guess, for that matter.
Yes, yeah. And today we're going to dive all into your journey, into how you've built your business, everything, the mindset, the tactics, and really happy about it.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you all my secrets. Well, some of my secrets.
Most of the secrets.
Most of the secrets. Some of them we're going to leave off this podcast.
Okay, let me just scratch those out really quick so that we don't talk about those. All right, okay. Very first question, and this is super important. I have to know, all my listeners want to know, everybody wants to know. The tattoos, are they real?
The tattoos are real.
They are.
Yes. But
Okay.
I'm actually in the process of getting one removed.
Really?
I have one. I have a bunch of tattoos, but the one that's on my chest, it says family one way. It says for every other way.
Yes.
I love my family to death. But to be honest, I've had it covered from makeup more times than not. So, when I go on set and makeup artist has to cover it, it's a pain in the ass. So I figured, I'm just going to get it removed because there's no purpose of having it.
So what is that process of getting a tattoo removed? Like, what do you have to do? Is it just lasers and
Yeah, but it's a
lots
laser
of sessions?
Yeah, laser sessions every 8 weeks. So I have my second session coming up on this Saturday.
Okay.
And then I'll go back in 8 weeks, and then 8 more weeks, and you just keep going until it's gone.
I could imagine getting that many tattoos was a journey because you have, your whole shoulder and then your chest. Are there any other ones that...
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, I used it as a way to, I traveled a bunch, right? And I was traveling all over the world, and I used it as a way to collect souvenirs because I was backpacking, so I couldn't bring like a souvenir with me, so I was like, I'll just get something on my body.
No teacups?
Yeah, no teacups. No, I got a lion, an elephant, a polar bear, some doves, a bunch of things that I've collected over the years.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
And that's been a little problematic on set, or...
For the most part, it's not. The only one that gives people issues is the graffiti one that I have on my chest because it does take away the focus. Like, people go, and they look at it and they're like, what does that say? You know? So I was just like, no, I'm just going to get it removed because I'm sick of having a hair and makeup or a makeup artist cover this every single time I do a shoot.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right. Second question.
Perfect.
Equally as important. The jawline.
The jawline.
You get so many comments on your Instagram about the jaw.
The jaw.
I see it on your Instagram, on your TikTok.
You should see my DMs.
Oh, dude, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Wrigley.
Right, yeah. Exactly. No, people always go, you actually can't even see it that well right now, probably because I have a beard.
Yeah, you got a little beard going on.
A little scruff. No, but I get that question a lot. They're like, what do you do for your jaw? I'm like, I chew food, I chew gum. That's pretty much it.
Just talk.
I talk. I bite. I guess I grind my teeth a little bit. I had to wear a mouth guard for a little bit when I was like sleeping growing up.
Really?
Because I was just grinding the back of my teeth. But yeah, just genetics.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Jawline is
no
genetics.
Special workout at the gym to get that chiseled jaw.
And I have seen there's products now where you can like train your jaw, like it's like this thing you bite down onto, and to help build the muscle, like the musculature of like your jaw, to help shape it. I get asked, I don't know what it's called. It's called like I can't even kerning or doing something like that.
Okay.
And people have been like, oh, do you? I'm like, no, I don't fucking do that. No,
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I'm like, I just eat food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, well, cool. I just had to get those questions out of the way.
Of course.
Because, the people want to know, Eric.
The preliminary questions.
Yes. But I want to talk about your journey and how you weren't always a model. That's not what you went to school for. You didn't start out in modeling school learning how to walk a runway or how to pose or how to do any of those things. So take me back there to your initial, schooling time.
Yeah. So... I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, and I went to school in Rhode Island. I went to school, believe it or not, for math and economics.
Okay.
And minored in finance and computer science. So I was all set. I worked in finance for 2.5 years when I was in school.
Okay.
And that was my route. If anyone who knew me in college knew that I was going to go work on Wall Street, I was going to do wealth management, I was going to do something along those lines at a big bank somewhere. And thankfully at the time I was with my ex, and she was at school at University of Kansas. And I had to kind of choose. I was like, all right, do I go to New York? Do I go do this route, or do I go move out there to be with her? And at the time, being 21 years old, I was like, it seems like it would be important to go spend this time with her. And so I moved out to Kansas City for a little bit, and then we actually bought one-way tickets to Australia, moved there, and that kind of was the jet setter for everything else that happened after that. We traveled the world together. We lived in Australia. We traveled through Asia, Europe, you name it. I've either been there or I wanted to go there. And during that time, to make money, I built my online fitness coaching business.
Right.
So that's where ET Fitness Coach comes from. Because I was building an online business that I could do wherever I was. That's what I wanted. I knew I couldn't do the 9-to-5 sitting in an office thing. That wasn't for me.
Okay.
I learned that very early. Once I moved to Kansas City, in the first week that I was there, I knew I was like, I can't do this. I was gonna freaking lose my mind.
And this is after you've already gone to school for it for a couple of years.
Oh yeah, this is after anyone who knew me in college was like, oh yeah, 100%, he's gonna go work on Wall Street. That's exactly what he's gonna do. I wore a suit every day of when I was in college.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I wore a suit all 5 days of college. 5 days a week in college, and anyways, I bet on myself. I was doing fitness coaching.
So we're next to a garage where we're recording this, and there was nobody there when we sat down to start doing this, and it seems like the entire garage is full of people and cars the minute we hit record.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll work around.
We'll just go with it.
So I traveled all over the world. I got back to America after years of doing this, and then me and her actually split. We were together for 4.5 years, and I was kind of put in a position where I was living in Northern California, and I needed to figure out my next move. And my family is on the East Coast. My dad's in Mass, my mom's in Florida, my brother's in Florida. So the logical option would have been for me to move back towards them to be closer to home, because I was kind of isolated out here. And instead, I put myself in the most uncomfortable situation possible. I moved to a place where I knew 0 people.
Yeah.
And I moved down to Long Beach, California. I shouldn't say I knew 0 people. I knew 1 person.
Okay.
And I had just gone through heartbreak. It was 4.5 years that me and my ex were together, and I packed my crap. I drove down here, and I thought that I was going to work at a gym, and that was just going to be what it was. I was going to be a personal trainer at a gym.
Right.
But instead, the day after I moved here, I actually booked a photo shoot with someone. And then I was like, I'm in the place where modeling and acting and creatives are all at. I was like, if I was ever going to give it a shot, this is the time to do it. Because before that, I'd done part-time modeling from being in fitness and bodybuilding and all that crap. But yeah, I was like, I'm in the place to do it. I might as well go for it. And so I booked a shoot. And then 2 days later, I booked another shoot. And then I booked a paid shoot. And then I booked paid shoots. And then it built an agency. And then it just built. And I worked my ass off. Yeah. I was doing my own correspondence, Instagram, on sites like Backstage, LA Casting, Model Mayhem, Model Management, all these sites, applying for castings, going to open calls, which you can't even do right now because of COVID, but it's all online now.
Whole world shut down.
Yeah, right? So, and I was doing all these things, and to be honest, I fell in love with actually modeling. I fell in love with creating art, letting my creative side come out, and it's grown into what it is today. This is my day-to-day. Okay. And I fell in love with the journey. And that's where I am.
I want to back up 1 second.
Yeah, let's back up.
To ET Fitness Coaching.
Okay.
So you're backpacking all around the world, and that's when you decided to launch that career, launch the online coaching. Is that right? Or
to a degree. So when I moved to Kansas City to be with my ex, I was working a corporate finance job. Mm-hmm. And again, I told you a week into it, I was like, I can't do this.
That's it.
I was like, this sucks. And so when I was there, I still stayed at that job, but someone like asked me for a fitness program, and I was like, all right. And then another person was like, oh, like, can you make me a fitness program like you made for him?
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
Let's see what I can do with it. So I got certified as a personal trainer. I got a nutrition certification, and then I was like, all right, if I'm going to get out of this, I need to have something to hold on to once I leave this crap job that I'm in. So I built my online fitness coaching business. And then by the time that I was making decent enough money of that to go travel, we booked a one-way ticket and went.
And then that's when you guys went and started touring the world.
Touring the world, yeah.
Okay. And during that time, you're still coaching online and finding new clients and, and building that business.
Yeah, I've worked with... I worked one-on-one with like over 300 people now.
Okay.
And, you know, I have clients in Australia, the UK. I've had clients in Cambodia, Switzerland, Canada, America.
And are these people that you just pick up as you were traveling, or did they find you online?
A lot of it came through Instagram. A lot of leads came from Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. You know, I never really spent $1 on advertising, thank God, because of these amazing platforms that we have. That are free, yeah. And it's like, it's an easy way to build your correspondence. You know, I never paid for like an automated coaching service, which I get asked every single day by someone who's like, hey, well, I want to automate your business. And I'm like, I'm just going to do my thing for a second. Yeah, I like doing things manually. So, anyways, and now I'm at a place where I have that as like a side income.
It's still going today.
It's still going. I only coach 15 people at a time because I used to coach like 30 to 40 and it was too much. Okay. And so now I just work with a lot of the same people that I've been working with on a continual basis.
Right.
But I just have it as a side. And then my main hustle, my main life is modeling, acting, and anything in the creative space.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. So because you built this great fitness career, this great coaching people in the fitness space, did that lead to you being discovered as a model and all the things that you were talking about, your outreach and being on the different platforms like Model Mayhem and Backstage?
Yeah. So since I had a fitness background, of course, photographers wanted to just shoot me because I had a great physique, you know? And so if I didn't have the physique, I wouldn't have gotten to modeling. You know, maybe someone would have said like, oh, you have a great face, you know, and, which, you know, you heard of growing up at the mall and someone's like, oh, like I want to do a portfolio of you or whatever, you know? But no, I just got to that point where I was like, I was reached out to by a photographer and then I set up shoots and then they set me up with another photographer and just again it became me leveraging my contacts and leveraging my connections to just grow. And people are like, how do you grow your social media? What's the best way to grow your social media? And it's like collaborating with people that are in your space.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, collaboration is everything. And if you're collaborating with like-minded people, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. I can definitely attest to that. I saw my own personal Instagram, well, not personal, but my business, JohnnyBoy photos. I saw that grow when I would take a picture of you and have you post it, or if I took a picture with Michael Scanlon and had him post it. And so just working with different, would you consider yourself an influencer?
You know, I hate that word, but I hate that word because of being, the reason why I don't like that word is because being a models know how to model. We know how to create art. Where influencers have to take a lot of photos and do all that stuff where they are technically modeling, but they don't know how to model. Gotcha. You know, they just take pictures with a product or they do acting with a product. And I'm generalizing, of course. You know, some influencers and models are great at doing both. But I would say I have an influence, but I hate being considered an influencer. Okay. If that makes sense. But yeah, I know what you mean because we do have influence. We do have the ability to help other people grow. And, you know, that's a great way for businesses to grow like yourself, you know, like we talked about.
And as of today recording this, your IG has 54.3 thousand followers.
Yes.
And your TikTok has 231.9. 232. We'll round up.
There's my stats. I didn't even know that my TikTok. I thought it was like 220 or something.
Yeah, 232.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, it's grown. TikTok's a interesting platform. You know, it's a fun platform.
It is.
We'll see how long it lasts or if it's here to stay. But it's been a good way for me to grow and again just be creative.
Yeah. Okay, so you're putting out content. You're growing your following, and then you just start booking gigs left and right.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that because, like you said, you were going after it by yourself before you ever signed up with an agent, a manager, any sort of agency. You're doing this all yourself.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I do a lot of my own bookings, even still today. About 90% of the bookings I get is direct bookings through me, whether that's
Right.
someone finding me on Instagram or, like I said, there's sites like Backstage, LA Casting, where I can just self-submit.
Yeah.
And that's where the hustle isn't seen, is applying for all these castings, is doing self-tapes, is
Yeah.
getting callback auditions and stuff. And that's where really the work is going to separate you, because even 5 years ago it was agency. I should say like 7 years ago.
Right.
It was agency.
Right.
How do you make it as a model? You make it as an agency model. And that's where the money is. That's where you make really good money on shoots, and that's where you get set up with big brands.
Okay.
But you can make really good money by doing your own bookings if you're smart and know how to run yourself as a business.
Right.
For example, whenever a brand reaches out to me and they're like, "Hey, we want to send you some clothes to model," now I'm like, "Great, I do paid collaborations, like here's my rates, if you want me to model your clothes, I can get you professional images, you can use them, I'll post them on Instagram, my posting rate is this," and and you have to think about it as a business opportunity. Even if a photographer reaches out to me, 99% of the time I won't shoot for free.
Right.
I really,
because it's a business.
it's a business. You have to run yourself like a business, and a lot of models, they're just like, okay, and it's like, if you don't think of yourself as a business and know your value, that's another big thing that really hit home. Is about a few months into my modeling career, I was like, I'm fucking good at this.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to, as egotistical as that might sound, I was like, I'm good at this. I can make this a career. I can do this.
Yeah.
And then you just keep, if you start believing in yourself more than anyone else that's in the room with you, then you'll make it.
You have to do it first.
You have to have 100% self-belief.
Yeah.
And so I did, and that's how I've run my business for the last 9-10 months. I don't even know how long it's been now. It's been a minute.
I have a saying on the wall in my room, and actually my buddy can attest to this. It says, know your worth and then add tax.
Yes.
And I love that, because so many times as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we don't know our worth, or we don't value ourselves in the way that we should when we're positioning ourselves to help other people. What you're doing as a model, you're helping other brands get their message out there.
Yeah.
You're helping other clothing companies showcase their product.
Yeah. And it's no, absolutely. It's knowing your worth and knowing how to leverage your worth, because if I knew that I was the greatest model that's ever existed, that's one thing. But if you don't know how to actually run yourself as a business, and that's where everything I learned in college, and that's where all that comes in. Where I'm analytical in how I think. I've fallen in love with this day to day, and I've enjoyed the process. But if I didn't have those analytical skills of how do I run a business, how do I make myself get money, how do I get paid for this, then I would still be look up the average salary for a male model. It's garbage.
Yeah, it's like nothing.
It is less than McDonald's. So it's like you have to really know how to do this the right way. And there isn't one way to do it, but you have to know how to leverage your skills.
You need to know your way.
Yeah, you need to know your way, and you need to find that through trial and error.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've known each other like a little over a year, I want to say.
Yeah.
Because we met in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was just by me reaching out to you on Instagram, and we connected there, and we had some back and forths, and then we've done a couple of shoots together. And I've watched your Instagram grow, I've watched your influence grow, and I've watched your rate grow.
Yeah.
So how do you say, okay, this is my rate, and then turn around a month later and say, oh yeah, that was my rate before, here's my rate now?
Yeah. So from working so many projects where I get paid more, and for example, I did I'm not going to ever give numbers, but I did a really big shoot where I did a Valentine's Day campaign for a really big company. And so it would be coming out in, 2 weeks for Valentine's Day. And anyways, they paid me well. And then I actually got booked for another Valentine's Day campaign shoot. I got a lot of Valentine's Day stuff coming out. And anyways,
imagine.
Yeah. And so that was like a kicking point where I knew what I was making on a day rate. And I was like, okay, if I'm making that for a day rate for this project, and then the next one is even more, and I'm like, okay, like I can charge more, because like that's all stuff that they'll come to you with a budget, and they're like, this is what we'll pay you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but versus when I have to give my rates to someone,
Yeah.
two different conversations. And you have to,
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
context matters. You know, like if someone comes to me and I know that I'm going to help grow them in some way, shape, and form, I know my value there. So
Yep.
I know I can add an extra whatever amount of money I want to add to it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I set my rates and I'll run with that for a month and I'll see how it goes. If people come back to me like, oh, that's too much, or oh, that's too much, or whatever. Number one, that's fine for me because I know what I have to offer,
Yeah.
you know, and what value I can bring to a brand or photographer, whoever's booking me for a project.
Okay.
You know, so it's a trial and error thing, but you also just have to know what you bring to the table.
Okay.
Because outside of being a great model, I know that if I'm going to post the photos of shot by that person or whatever, I know that that's another avenue that they're going to get. That's another influence aspect that they get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've struggled with in growing your career, in growing your business?
I mean, for the most part, no. I don't want to say it's everything I do is sunshine and rainbows, but I mean, for lack of a better term, my life's pretty awesome, and and I've just enjoyed it. And you know, I've had some speed bumps here and there, but for the most part, it's been smooth sailing and just, you know, incrementally building.
Okay. So during your journey, you've had to, I mean, you talked about this a little bit where you've built these relationships with other people, with different brands, with other, have you worked with a lot of other influencers, would you say? Other people with influence?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say a lot, because a lot of the shoots I do are solo shoots. You know, it's someone that's shooting me or whatever. But I've shot, you know, I've shot with some bigger models like Nick Topol. He's a big model. That I just shot with him in St. Thomas.
Shout out to Nick.
Yeah. If you're listening, Nick, what's up? Hope Ohio's good. Yeah, you know, I shot with him, and then, you know, photographers themselves have a big following. You know, I've shot with some big guys like, you know, Michael Stokes, Luis Raphael,
Studio Jenkins,
Michael Downs, Studio Jenkins,
Ben Veronis,
Stephen Reyes, Ben Veronis,
Derek Yates.
Derek Yates. Yeah, I'm probably leaving out a lot of people, so sorry if I didn't say your name. But yeah, no, I have Gaston. You know, I have a lot of Wester. I have a lot of big photographers that I've worked with, and so that's like a big aspect of it. But then also on top of that, you know, I've worked with I'm just trying to think of influencers, and I'm just thinking numbers in my Jillian Nation. I just worked with her. She's a big female model. Yeah, I mean, you know, everyone always asks me like, oh, like, what's your favorite shoot that you've ever done? And I'm like, I can't even think of like beyond like a month ago. So I'm just gonna give you my last shoot, like my favorite shoot in the last month or whatever. And so that's probably where my head's at right now. But yeah, I've worked with some really big influencers and big models, and it's been a great career of, you know, me just growing growing that way.
So in those early days, did you have a coach or a mentor or somebody that you looked up to in order to kind of help you along this journey, or was it truly just all trial and error from day one? Throw something against the wall, see what sticks.
Honestly, yeah, throw some stuff at the wall and see. I had people that I looked up to. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have anyone giving me direction. I really did do a lot of trial and error and figuring out what works for me. And there we go. And yeah, so I didn't have a coach. I was self-coached and I trial and error, but I did follow like other models. Like I had 3 models that I started following, literally just 3, and I can tell you who they are. And those were like the models that I was like, okay, like I was basing them like off their following, and I was like, all right, this is where I want to get to. This is where I know I can get to, and that's like the ultimate. And so Wyatt Engman, I've chatted with him a bunch of times.
Okay.
He's a model in Chicago, and he was one of the first models that I followed as soon as I started my journey. So,
really? Okay.
Again, I've talked to him a few times. He's a great guy, and we both follow each other now. And you know, it's eventually at some point we'll do a shoot together. But he was one, and he had about 30-something thousand when I started following him.
Okay.
And then the next level above that was Levi Connolly. And so again, I've worked with photographers that all these people have worked with, and he was like another one that I was like, okay, I feel like I could get there. Yeah. And I'm not just basing it off of following; I'm just basing it off of like their work. Yeah. You know, so again, Levi was a big influence for me when I started. I had shot with Brandon Jameson down in San Diego, and he had actually just shot Levi. So I was like, oh, this is, and that was like over a year ago. So I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, you know, I'm breaking new ground. And then on the top was Christian Hogue. And so I was okay, that's where I wanna eventually get to. I know it's gonna take years, it's gonna take a lot of work, but that'd be a person that I emulated for, especially early on in my career when I was trying to shape what I was getting to.
Yeah, Christian has a great portfolio.
Yeah. And ironically, the last 4 of the last 5 shoots I've done have been with photographers that he's worked with. So I'm okay, I'm on the right path,
Yeah. As you've been doing this, as you're following all these different people, you have to come up with your own style. So are you emulating their style? Are you trying to just hey, that picture got a lot of likes, it got a lot of publicity, that's what I'm aiming for? Not the likes, but to build your portfolio. So are you trying to do what they did in order to move your portfolio and your career forward? Or were you doing it more to find out what worked for you?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So you learn your style as you go. Obviously I had a fitness background. I purposefully lost muscle. I lost about 10 to 12 pounds of muscle to look more like a model and less like a bodybuilder.
Okay.
And then in terms of style, obviously it's going to depend on the shoot. If you're doing a commercial shoot, you can't show up as an editorial, doing all these crazy poses.
Right.
If you're doing e-com, you're standing there, know. But when I shoot editorial, when I shoot for my own content, I really get lost in the flow, and that's what I fell in love with, is actually flowing from pose to pose. You crank up the music, it's you and whoever's on set, and you get lost in yourself, and you really just learn you just go with what feels right.
Yeah.
And so in terms of my style, obviously I do underwear, swimwear, athletic wear, jeans. That's if I'm shooting content, that's my style in terms of what I'm shooting. And I just let my body and what feels right in the moment kind of determine what the shoot looks like.
Yeah, because you've done like you said, underwear, swimwear. You've done 3-piece suits. You've done golf outfits.
Yeah.
You've done everything.
Beachwear. I've done high fashion.
Yeah.
I did a shoot for Michael Costello, and
I love Michael.
Him and Jesse are amazing. Jesse is his partner, Jesse Costello, and I've done shoots for Jesse, and again, that's high fashion. That is a whole new world when it comes to modeling, and especially for guys, it's so different. You wear stuff that's just out there.
Yes.
I've done stuff for JD Design, and again, that's all crazy stuff that I would have had no idea existed if I didn't get into modeling.
Right.
But obviously that's not my my go-to. My go-to is I get booked for my physique and modeling underwear and all that stuff, which I love. Everyone will see what I post on Instagram and they're oh, you post so much underwear, and I'm it's because that's what I get booked for. That's how I make
money. Pays
the
bills.
Yeah, right. That's what I get booked for. That's what I enjoy. And if you look at a girl's page, for example, a female model, a lot of them, if you're a bikini model, if you're that's what they're posting. But for whatever reason, there's this gender kind of separation of girls, it's okay to kind of do all that all the time, but guys, it's weird if you post underwear photos and all that stuff. I don't know why. It's just the standard that it is. But that's what I don't wear clothes that often anyways. So I'm just in my natural habitat when I'm shooting.
Well, between Long Beach, California, and Florida, you have 2 amazing climates to never ever wear a shirt.
The women I live with here, all of them are when he moved in for the first month, he never had a shirt on, and we didn't know if this was normal or if he was trying to show off. But then we learned that this is just how he is.
Yeah,
he just doesn't.
It's just a Tuesday.
I don't model shirts because I don't wear them.
There you go.
Just kidding. If you want to hire me for a shirt, I'll model it.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. But during all of this, you've gained sponsorships. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So
Riderwear specifically is the one that I know is huge, but that's your gym wear. You also have skin. Don't you have a hair product that?
I have so many brands that I work with on a continual basis right now. On today, Wednesday, I have Riderwear is my athletic apparel sponsorship. Rule One is my supplement sponsorship.
Yes. Yep.
Ziri, an amazing company out of San Diego, is my skincare sponsorship.
Okay.
And those are my 3 my bread and butter. Those are my long-term relationship deals. I've done a lot of brand work with other companies like When. That's by Chaz Dean. Shout out to Chaz if you're listening. He's a good friend of mine.
Awesome.
That's like hair care. That is lip care. I did a lip care photo shoot for him. So
really?
These lips actually came from him. So,
okay. Chaz has a great line.
Yeah, When is an amazing company. Chaz is an amazing person. And that's like, again, I really only work with brands that I actually respect, use, all that. I have so many brands that reach out to me and they're like, hey, we'd love to do whatever with you. And then I look at what they do and I'm like, I don't really know if I like your vibe, I don't want to say initiative, but right. If it just doesn't feel right, I'm not, or if their product sucks, I'm not going to model it. I'm not going to work with them. So, and that's like on the influencer side, more of things. But
how often do you reach out to a brand and say, hey, I would love to showcase your product? I would love to try out a sample. How often does that stuff work?
Early on, I definitely did that more. In the first 3 months of going full-time modeling, I was like, hey, I'd love to, work with you. I love your brand. Now, I would say I haven't really reached out to a brand in a long time. Okay. Brands reach out to me, and that's kind of how I want it to go anyways. Unless I'm working with a product and I'm when you for example, when you write a Yelp review about a restaurant, it's usually you're gonna write the negative review. But if you feel the need to write a positive review, that's when you know a restaurant is amazing, right?
Yes.
So same thing goes for products. If I bought a product at a store and then I'm like, oh my god, I love this product, I need this in my life, I might reach out to them and be like, hey, just letting you know, I love your product, it's awesome. If you ever want to work together, let me know.
Okay.
But very rarely do I do that now. There's those anomaly times that it happens though.
But again, this is all you handling this 100% yourself.
I don't have an assistant. I have a manager now. I have agents. I'm with BMG and Niall Apparel here in LA. Mm-hmm. I have people that are helping me. It takes a village. I have people that are helping me. With various projects that I can't speak about right now, but Jeremy Tick is helping me with a lot, and my manager, Paul Escol, they're helping me with a lot too. So I have a lot of people that are helping me, but I do my own correspondence. I don't have an assistant that answers my emails or answers my texts or anything like that. I'm just doing it all myself.
Which you love, though.
I love it, yeah. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it.
Yeah, that's kind of the do the work. Put in the hours, put in the work, put in the effort. If it's something that you want, go after it.
And I like connecting with people. I love actually when I get an email or a direct message that I actually see, and it's just a positive message. I get some of the nicest messages from fans, or I hate using the word fans, but followers, fans, whatever. And they'll be like, hey, you really helped me cure my anxiety by helping me start making healthier decisions, working out more, eating right, and then also mentally, I'm a very positive person. That's just kind of that's who I am now. And that's who I've been for the last few years, is just a very positive person. But since I fell in love with modeling and I fell in love with my day to day, the positivity only grew. And so now I'm literally I help people just from giving off positive vibes and giving them positive things to think about, because what you think about is what you become.
Yes. 100%.
Your thoughts become exactly what transpires in your life.
Yes.
So if you think positive thoughts, if you're in a positive headspace, that is exactly what you're going to get out of it.
And guys and girls listening, if you are not following Eric on IG, you absolutely should be. ET Fitness Coach, at ET Fitness Coach. Link will be in the description, in the bio, in the whatever, where you are listening to this. But